How many days have you wondered, what did you do today? How many times have you woken up and told yourself that you're going to be productive today? You have been busy the whole day, yet it seems like you haven't accomplished much. In today's video, we're going to talk about those drains of time that all of us are fighting with on a daily basis. As a person that wants to excel in life and has goals, you want to be productive and focus on the things that matter to you. You don't want to be the observer of your life and just watch how your life unfolds. You want to take life in your own hands and be the main character. There's a quote that really appealed to me. It says that you can always make more money, but you can never make more time. And in today's era that we have been basically bombarded with all sorts of distractions, it's hard to stay concentrated and focus on the things that matter to you. It seems like there is always something more interesting to do instead of working on your goals. If we go back in time, like before the internet and the computers, and see how people used to pass their time, they were mostly reading books, listening to music, singing songs, going to theaters. And if we go back even further in time, people used to work on the field. Like after a hard day of working on the field, the only things that you could do is maybe sing songs, dance by the fire, or just tell stories. And those distractions are actually beneficial for you because these are low dopamine activities, and especially when it's time to rest. But what's not okay is going down the rabbit hole of the endless scrolling on TikTok and Instagram. And while yes, it has never been easier to make money, it has never been easier to have a good income. And at the same time, it has never been harder to stay focused and productive. It has never been harder to lock in on the work that you're avoiding that's stopping you from being the person that you want to be. You have to lock in on your dreams and goals, and you have to find your why. Why you want to be the person you want to be. You have to get rid of all those time drainers. The first one that we're all guilty of or have been guilty of is mindlessly scrolling on social media. And it's okay to scroll on social media if you're doing a research or if you're trying to learn a useful skill or information. But the border between the two is very thin, and it's very easy to get lost while you're scrolling. This is a habit that took me a very long time to get rid of, because even if you do the work that you intended to do, it is probably going to take you a lot longer than expected, so you're still losing time. And that's why these companies are paying their engineers such big salaries, because they create those algorithms that are going to feed you interesting content. You can scroll and scroll and it's always going to show you something interesting. They're always there to steal your time and keep you hooked on watching those meaningless videos and always checking your notifications on Instagram or TikTok. And what has personally helped me to get rid of this habit is to be more mindful and try and keep myself more accountable. So every time I receive a notification on my phone and I unintentionally grab it to see what is this notification, I say to myself, do you really want this? Do you really prefer this over your dreams and over your goals? Are you ready to sacrifice this and go to bed knowing that you haven't achieved what you had to achieve, knowing that you are disappointing yourself? And it might sound rough, but being raw and honest with myself has helped me keep myself on track and also helped me fight those bad habits. 5 minutes scrolling is never going to affect your life in a negative way. But if this is a habit that you do on a daily basis, 5 minutes are going to turn into like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours. And I have heard of people having like 5 hours of scrolling on TikTok. And the truth is that if you keep feeding those bad habits, they're going to have a lasting impact, a negative impact on your future life. But if you think that this won't work for you, I have some other tips. There are apps out there that make your phone screen black and white. And the idea behind this is to make your screen less appealing. So when you pick up your phone, it's all black and white and you don't have interest in scrolling as much. And basically it's going to give you less dopamine when you scroll. I personally think that this is not going to work, at least for me and some other people that I have spoken to. But if you want to take it up a notch, there are apps out there that forbid you from entering some of your apps on the phone. For example, you can block your Instagram or just restrict it to have about 15 minutes of Instagram for the whole day. So basically once you exceed the limit of 15 minutes, you can no longer enter Instagram. I think this is kind of useful. For me it didn't work out because you always have the solution to just turn off this app and you can regain access to everything back again. But for some people it works, for some it doesn't. You just have to try it out and see for yourself. Depending on your age, news and television can drain a lot of your time on a daily basis. And actually the truth behind the news is that they haven't been made as much to inform us, but they have been made to entertain us and keep us busy. Of course, this is apart from being a way to control the masses and spread misinformation. I remember when I was still living with my parents, I used to have a TV that I ran all the time. It was on a background for everything. When I was studying, when I was playing games, whatever I was doing, the TV was turned on, and even when I was sleeping sometimes. Now thinking about it, I understand why I wasn't such a good student. And since I went to live on my own, I have always had a TV in my rooms, but I have never actually paid for television or Netflix or some other subscriptions. It just has been more like a decoration to the rooms, not exactly to be used as much. The only time I'm watching the news is when we're traveling with my wife to my parents or her parents, and there we just don't get to choose what to watch. So on the background we always learn something on the news, and this is a way for us to be informed like once every couple months to know what's happening around the world. So my advice to you is, if you're doing something similar, you will have a lot of benefits if you cancel your subscriptions and your television. And here is something very controversial that many people are preaching about on social media. All the gurus on social media are promoting that if you work hard, you're going to achieve your dreams. But from my personal experience, it doesn't actually work like that. In my experience, working less can often lead to doing more. And of course, I've been there. I have worked like 12 hours each day from Monday to Sunday, and I have done this for many months. And at some point you get burned out, you start working even more, and you get even more burnout, and you start to compensate for the work that you can't do anymore, because you used to do like 4 hours of work in 4 hours, and now when you're burned out, you can only do 4 hours of work in these 12 hours that you work. So you start increasing the time you work to keep up with this, and what happens at the end is that you're working 12 hours and you're only being productive for about 1/3 of this time. Not to mention all the sacrifices you have to make for this lifestyle. If you work from Monday to Sunday 12 hours a day, what's happening is that you have to make some sacrifices, whether that's going to be with your social life, your physical health, and your mental health as well. And in some cases, all three of those. This way of living can easily lead to mental health issues and also depression. And if you're required to do creative work just like me, and the people that are doing creative work will understand, you need to have some free time in your life in order to be creative. This is how some of the best ideas I have ever had have been born. Also, if you work 12 hours a day, you're going to start losing your social life and your social skills, as well as your soft skills. And these are all important if you want to develop a business, because you need those soft skills to communicate with people. And if you're not communicating with people, then there is no way to make business. No matter what your business are you into, you still have to communicate with a lot of people on a daily basis. And what helps me to be more productive and also have some free time in my life is to plan my day from the night before. What has worked for me is have a Notion template that I'm using, and inside this Notion template I'm planning my task for the day, for the next day. So when I wake up, I know exactly what I'm going to do, and this way I don't lose any time in thinking about the next thing, and I also don't forget about the things that I need to do. I guarantee you, if you plan your day from the night before, it's going to have a massive impact on the workload and also on your productivity. So these are the things that are draining your time and how I deal with them. I hope this video has been helpful for you and you have learned something. I'm also interested of how you're dealing with these time drainers. Please let me know in the comments.